call the meeting to order. All right, so it's 6:43 p.m. on Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I am just going to first start with a roll call of the advisory committee members just so I can hear them. So Brian Boyle, Ann Hurd, can you say hi?
Hi, Ann Hurd's here.
All right. Craig Lauer.
That's me.
Joe Meyerson.
Hello, I'm here.
All right, so we have a quorum, and then also present, we have Town Administrator Dawn Lowe in the room with us, and Town Accountant Anachka Rogers in the room with us as well.
Mr. Chairman, there's one point of order for you. Because it's remote participation, when you take a vote, they all need to be roll call votes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the first item on the agenda is to get an update from Parks and Recreation regarding their operating budget request for FY21. So, Allie Webb, I believe you're unmuted. Do you want to just walk us through briefly what's up?
Yeah, we were coming back to talk again about the lights at Murphy Court. We had a rough quote in the past for 3,000 that you asked us to go and look and see if we could find anything either more detailed to understand what the 3,000 was for, or a different quote completely. So we spoke to Peter Costello, and he met with me and Ed at Murphy's Court at Memorial Field and has come up for a quote of $425 to change the light system that we have, the switch system, and hopefully then make it more vandal proof and be able to be working through this going forward.
Okay. Are you able to say a little bit about what they're actually going to do? I don't know if maybe you don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
I can put a bit together. There's two metal junction boxes there already that have not necessarily been tampered with. So a lot more is going to go into those boxes, and then we will have a twist hour switch, so that can be twisted to have an hour's light, and then that will be switched off via a timer at 10 p.m. so it can no longer be used after 10 p.m. every night.
Okay. All right, does anybody have any questions?
Well, it's a remarkable difference between the original estimate and the final bid. Do you think that will be an adequate vandal-proof solution?
We did get more details from DPW through Joe Lynch on what they were suggesting, and that was really the price on that was that big metal box that they were, which is more like a traffic junction, like they would use for traffic lights, to store the electrics for there. So that was the big cost. I don't know. We as Parks and Recs, I felt no one really knows which way is best to go. If we could spend the 3,000 and not think about it, then maybe that would be the most vandal-proof way to go. But it seems an awful lot of money for one piece of equipment within our current
Yep.
Yes.
Things that we run. It's a lot of money for us. So I don't know if anyone has it. We felt that the 425, if we can get it fixed and it can go forward and not be if it happens again, then I guess there should be no more money spent until we can afford to do something completely and utterly differently.
That sounds good to me.
So,
That's Joe.
so just in terms of the numbers, to make sure everybody's on the same page, your original request was included within purchase of services, and your total request was originally $7,920. That included the 3,000. So if we take that 3,000 out, the request would have been $4,920, and then adding $425 to that, we get $5,345 for the purchase of services line, for a total,
Okay.
for a total Parks and Recreation budget of $42,611. So I would entertain a motion to approve Parks and Rec for a total of $42,611 for FY 2021.
I'll move we approve that.
All right, so that was moved by Craig, and it's
I'll
not
second.
seconded by Ann, and then we need to do a roll call. So I'm in favor. Ann,
I'm in favor. Oh,
Joe?
yes.
Joe,
I'm in favor.
and Craig.
I'm in favor.
All right. So that is 4 out of 4. Okay. So before we go on to the remaining operating budgets that we have to vote on, we're going to turn our attention to the warrant, because we have the benefit of our town administrator being here. Does everybody have a copy of the warrant in front of them?
Nope, but I'll get it.
Because I can, here, let me just try something.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Just gonna try.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go get my binder.
All right,
Look at
Good
that.
job,
Look
Mom.
at that.
Oh, wow, you did it, great.
All right.
This thing's cool.
so just be honest with me, is that the only document you can see right now? Because I did not mean to be sharing my entire computer.
No, that's the only document I can see.
Okay,
Good for you. I'm impressed.
see, I'm glad I didn't have a drink first.
I'll make up for it later.
I think I should have.
All right, let me just see. Okay, and I don't know if you can see, it's on the screen now too.
Yeah, I can see it. I was just looking for my other ones.
All right, so why don't we just go through, Article 1 is to accept the annual reports. That was unanimously approved last week by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to accept the annual reports?
I make the motion to accept the annual reports.
All right,
I s-
and Joe. Okay, all in favor, obviously Ann, Joe, and then Craig, are you a yes?
Yep.
And I'm a yes, so that's Brian. Okay. Article 2, unpaid bills for fiscal year 2019. You can see the 3 invoices right there. That was unanimously approved last week by the Board of Selectmen. And these are unpaid bills from the previous fiscal year for services that have been rendered. Is there a motion to approve Article 2?
Just a quick question. The M, can't read it. HQ is the lawyers?
No,
No, it's the medical stuff for the fire department, I think.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know exactly what the acronym was.
No, actually, MHQ is a place to get repairs for automobiles.
Huh.
That's it.
which police and
Okay,
fire use.
all right, thanks. Sorry to be so dumb.
All right, so was there a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
All right, Craig. All right, all in favor? I'm assuming that's Joe and Craig.
Then go.
What about you, Ann? Yep,
Yes, I approve.
and Brian. Okay, we'll skip over Article 3, because we don't have those numbers yet. Okay, Article 4, this is new revolving funds, to see if the town will vote to establish new revolving funds for Council on Aging, Parks and Rec, and the ALS within the fire department. You'll see on that second page, those are the maximum amounts expendable, and this was unanimously approved by the Board of Selectmen last week.
I move that we approve.
I second it.
All in favor?
Craig says yes.
Ann says yes.
Yes, says Joe.
Yes, says Brian. Okay. Article 5, spending limits of revolving fund accounts. These are revolving fund accounts that we've seen in prior years, and I don't believe those maximum amounts expendable have changed, right?
That's right.
Okay. That was approved unanimously by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Craig
Aye.
says yes.
Let's just, when we do all in favor, why don't we just do Ann, Craig, Joe, and then me? Just
Okay,
Ann, Craig, Joe, and me.
so I got proof.
Yep,
I approve.
I approve.
and Brian approves. Okay. Article 6. So this takes a little bit of explanation. This is not actually raising any additional money. This is basically housekeeping, right, is my understanding?
Yes, it's basically housekeeping. Bond counsel has recommended that, because when the article was originally written, and the following article is the same, that since the exact amount to borrow wasn't mentioned, it could prevent us from refinancing our debt if we want to roll this debt for Article 6 and Article 7 into a future borrowing or a future refinancing. Therefore, we're just revoting the article with recommended language. So it is very much a housekeeping issue, and there is no new appropriation of any funds.
So that allows us to refinance it, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, so for Article 6, is there a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve. It's Ann speaking.
And
I'll
then,
second.
okay. All right, all in favor, just say your name and your vote.
Ann, yes.
Craig, yes.
Joe, yes.
Brian, yes. All right, so the same thing is true for Article 7, it's just a housekeeping to allow for refinancing. So we need to revote that amount. Is there a motion to approve Article 7?
So move, that's Joe.
I'll second.
Okay, and then let's start with Ann with the voting.
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 8. This is just allowing the town to re-accept provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 32B, which is what allowed us to establish an OPEB trust fund. As I understand it, this is just like getting us, showing that we've adopted the changes to the law from the Municipal Modernization Act, but it's not actually changing the mechanism of the fund. So this was sponsored by the treasurer and unanimously approved by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve Article 8?
Yeah, move we approve Article 8.
Okay,
Second the motion.
all right, and then starting with Ann, how do you vote?
Yes.
Craig says yes.
Joe says yes.
Brian says yes. Okay, Article 9. So actually, I'll discuss Article 9 and Article, sorry, it's Article 10 and 11 that go together. So Article 9 is basically amending the code to allow for bed and breakfast establishments in homes. We already have one or two in town, and this would cover them and then would apply to any new bed and breakfast that open up. And this was sponsored by the planning board and approved by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve Article 9?
I move we approve Article 9.
And Joe seconds the motion.
Okay, Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
And Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 10, to be perfectly honest, I would like to defer to the town administrator to explain exactly what this does. I mean, it's basically just giving us sort of an additional enforcement mechanism in order to get the fees in lieu. But I don't really understand like how it's different from what we already have in place.
That's essentially correct, and Anachka should feel free to jump in if I don't say anything correctly, but it's basically allows us to attach a lien on the property for unpaid charges and fees, as it says. Fees in lieu of units is pursuant to the inclusionary section, so in support of inclusionary housing, but it's really just another way for us to collect money owed if necessary.
Yeah, because basically we already have a bylaw that says we should be getting fees in lieu. This just adds to the bylaw to give us an additional enforcement mechanism.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, so is there a motion to approve Article 10?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, starting with Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 11 is related, ooh, somebody's trying to get in here.
I think that was me,
Oh,
sorry.
no problem.
That was me.
Article 11 goes with Article 10, and that's to amend the provision of the code that deals with fees in lieu. So you can see on that page, the underline is, Section C is what would effectuate Article 10 that we just approved. So is there a motion to approve Article 11?
I move we approve Article 11.
I second the motion.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Ally.
Yeah, I'm going. I was working it out.
Oh, no, I just didn't want you to feel like you needed to stay this whole time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really
Bye.
appreciate it. All right, so that was moved by Craig, seconded by Joe. Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Okay, and Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 12 is to replace the failed culvert on Wattaquatic Hill Road. This would be in the amount of $420,000, and I believe we would be paying for that from free cash.
Yes,
So are we gonna delete the borrowing section in that?
yes, we are.
That was my only question.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve Article 12?
Also move.
I'll second.
All right, starting with Ann, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. Okay.
Yes, we will remove any reference to borrowing, just to be clear.
Okay.
Unless Anachka says we don't have enough money.
All right, Article 13. This is to replace the particulate filter in the public safety building generator. So this is for the sum of $57,000, sponsored by DPW, approved by the Board of Selectmen last week. And this was explained to us when the town administrator presented capital items. So is there a motion to approve Article 13?
I'll
I
make the motion to
support.
approve.
All right, Ann moves, Joe seconds.
By acclamation.
Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 14, this is again another capital project to provide for $39,600 for mowers, tractors compliant with new OSHA requirements. Again, this was a priority on the town administrator's capital plan, and is there a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, how do you vote, Ann?
I vote approve, yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 15, another capital request, painting the library, sum of $50,000. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve.
Second.
Okay, Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. All right, Article 16, DPW garage overhead doors. This is for, at a cost of $28,000 to replace all 4 overhead doors at the DPW garage. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. Article 17, this is $40,287 to replace the water booster pump and controls at Sawyer School. Sponsored by Neshoba and recommended by the town administrator. Approved by Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, Ann, how do you vote?
Yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
Brian votes yes. All right, Article 18, Sawyer School window repair, $14,335. This was recommended by our town administrator and approved by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Article 19, Persons Park land easement. Now, as I understand it, this doesn't actually have any financial impact on the town.
No financial impact. And what the article does is it gives the selectmen the authority to go off and negotiate an easement agreement with the Boy Scouts of America. It doesn't, this article in and of itself does not grant the easement. So the selectmen can negotiate the terms and conditions.
This was unanimously approved by the Board of Selectmen. Right?
Yes,
Yeah, I just realized that the vote isn't in this version of the warrant, but I thought, I was there last week and I thought that they.
they did.
Yeah.
This one they voted unanimously.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve Article 19?
I move we approve Article 19.
I'll second that motion.
All right, Ann, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Okay, Article 20, School District Feasibility Study. As you remember from when the superintendent came to visit us, they are putting an article on the warrant in each of the 3-member towns to borrow an amount not to exceed $2 million to pay for a feasibility study. Basically, what the superintendent explained was, although we might not need this money until sometime early next year, we want to get it approved so that we don't have to have a special town meeting. So this was approved last week by the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to approve here?
I so move.
I'll second.
All right, Ann, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Article 21, this is a community choice aggregation which would allow the town to bulk purchase electricity on behalf of its citizens and small businesses. I did have a question for you, our town administrator, about, like, is this a voluntary program for residents?
I think the dictionary would call it voluntary. the way the law is set up is if we enter into a community choice aggregation agreement, that everyone is presumed opted in, but you have the ability to opt out. It's not, you must opt in to participate. So the town would need to be able to communicate far and wide how people may opt out if they choose to.
And how would it actually be effectuated for a homeowner? Like,
Is it just your energy supply, your energy supplier?
It is your energy supplier, yes.
okay,
Like those of us with solar panels.
I would say you would opt out.
Oh, well, my solar panels sell the energy right now to National Grid.
I have solar panels, I don't think it would affect, because I change my energy supplier every year, just whoever's cheapest, just for the short amount of money I have to pay that the solar doesn't cover.
so this isn't like signing on the dotted line, it's giving the ability to,
Right, the next steps are, this is just to proceed, and then the committee would have to put together an RFP. They would interview applicants. They would put together an RFP, they would interview applicants, they would recommend the award of the contract to a specific applicant. The Board of Selectmen would need to approve. I believe there's also some state approval that comes into play. It's a fairly long process. This would be the town giving the green light to move forward with the RFP.
I have a question.
and there's a question from our town accountant, Anojka Rogers.
Would it be like when you signed up for you just get your electricity and National Grid is your supplier and you don't do anything, so by default, they're your supplier, even though they may be a little higher. If you don't actively go out and get, it might be similar to that.
It is similar to that, actually. And just to set the expectations, one would assume the pricing would be better than what you're getting now. It's not always the case, and I referenced Harvard that recently did this. They chose to go with 100% green energy. And by doing so, they didn't save, I don't think they saved any money. It might even be minimally more expensive, but they felt it was important to commit to green energy. So it won't necessarily bring down people's electric bills. It all depends on what direction we end up going in.
Right, and folks can individually opt out of this.
Yes,
So, and at the end of the day, they can opt out. I believe also the Board of Selectmen approved recommendation of this initial step. And to answer your question, Joe, it has no effect on whatever you or me or I do to throw energy back into National Grid. It's only if you are a net user of electricity, it's who you're getting your electricity from, that's all.
Okay, well, sounds good. I think it's a good idea to have as many choices available as we can.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
All right, Ann, how do you vote?
I approve.
Rick votes yes.
Joe also votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. We are going to skip over Article 22. So just so that you all know, I believe, well, assuming that there's still a Board of Selectmen's meeting on
That's what I put in my-
Thursday, hold on, let me pull up my calendar. Thursday, the 26th. Advisory Committee will also be convening on Thursday, the 26th, because there'll be some additional information related to the Taggart property presented to the Board of Selectmen at that time. And so we would be able to listen in on that and then make our recommendation at that time as well. So we'll skip over this for now, unless anyone has any questions. Okay. Article 23, the Central Massachusetts Mosquito Control Project. This is to see if the town will become a member of the CMMCP, which is at a cost of $58,000 for an annual expense. Now, the thing to note is that, and correct me if I'm explaining this incorrectly, but it's not that we make a $58,000 additional appropriation to join this, it's that it would be $58,000 that comes out of our local aid
That's correct.
in order to participate in this. And it's basically provides a whole host of services to try to abate the problems associated with mosquitoes, especially eastern equine encephalitis and all that stuff. So this was approved by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 2-1. It was a unanimous recommendation of the Mosquito
Control Committee.
Committee, which included members of the Board of Health and Conservation, our town administrator, and some local residents, including a veterinary doctor
And Parks and Rec.
and Parks and Rec. So, does anyone have any questions? Because we do have our town administrator here to answer questions if there are any.
What have we been doing in the past, and how does this enhance that?
In the past, we've been flying by the seat of our pants, trying to do the best we can with remediation, such as doing tire removal as the DPW can get to it, putting dunks in catch basins to try to take care of the standing water in catch basins where mosquitoes breed, but it's been a very minimal effort, you know, and it's been totally prophylactic, you know, on a couple of measures. This expands the preventive measures, which is where the emphasis is, and would allow for spraying as a last resort if necessary, but the emphasis is on preventive measures.
I had a couple of questions. So I tried to watch a little bit of that meeting a couple weeks ago, and when it comes to the tire recycling, is that, like, do residents have to proactively approach and say, hey, I have X number of tires, or do they go around the community and identify areas where there are tires?
I think it's both, you know, it's, you know, certainly a resident can reach out, but they would go around the community as well. I think the DPW knows well where there would be some that we haven't been able to get to. So it's not one answer to that, it's a multifaceted approach.
And then in terms of spraying, do they actually do any like private residences if there's a need, or is it all like?
They will do private residences. They have some criteria that need to be met before. You know, Brian, you're having a party Saturday night, so you wanna make sure there's no mosquitoes in your yard, so you call them and ask them to come spray. There needs to be multiple requests in the area. You can't just do a one-off like a private service would.
Yeah.
So yes, the wind can't be at above a certain mile per hour, that type of thing.
Yeah. And from what I remember of the presentation, the person that came out, I forget his name, was saying that they make an effort to use sort of the like least dangerous chemicals and the ones that have like that don't pose a danger to dogs or pets or kids.
He said they use a 4% solution, which I believe is the lowest that they can use to have any effectivity. It doesn't impact pets or kids. They announced before, I think the day before, that they're spraying, so if people need to protect, say, a beehive, you know, that could be protected.
Vegetable gardens.
What was that, Joe?
I said vegetable gardens.
Wait,
Is that a problem?
you can opt out, can't you?
I don't believe it is a problem. They indicated that there would be no negative impact to plants or fauna of any kind. So I assume that includes vegetable gardens. That wasn't specifically asked as far as vegetable gardens go, but it's not supposed to be intrusive to two plants. They said, that the spray, like if you're near a wetlands, it is not water soluble, but, as soon as sunlight hits it, it evaporates. So there is no remnants, it's not impactful to amphibious life as far as they know. So as I said, they said it's the least intrusive, solution that they can use.
Okay, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to,
All
I'll
right,
second that.
all right, Ann, how do you vote?
I approve.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Then the last one we don't vote on, that's the authorizing the town election.
No,
All right.
we flee to the exits.
Okay, so any other questions for our town administrator before he heads out?
The only question I had is I noticed, maybe this is the question for Ninochka, that we'll be rebonding some things or refinancing some things. My assumption is with interest rates at 0, that we're actually gonna make out pretty well.
Those two articles are only if we choose to refinance in the future. Not to say we won't, but if we don't approve those articles as written, we will not be able to refinance those.
Okay, I see that.
So to your point, if interest rates are good, it's something to be ready for.
Okay. All right, any other questions? No? Well, thank you very much for being here. Good night, Dawn.
Good night. You've been an excellent host.
All right, now I'm
Go
gonna,
McGinnis.
I'm gonna share one other document in order for us to kind of close out the night because, there's two other documents. I apologize. Just 1 second, I want to pull it up so everyone can see. All right, can everybody see that?
Yeah,
This is a transfer request from the reserve fund. The amount requested is $12,177.96 to be transferred to our legal budget. And this is because we've had expenses accrue for ongoing legal matters. So this is not the last request that we'll be getting for the legal budget this year, but we might as well do this one while we have it.
what does this leave the balance in our reserve fund?
I think we haven't taken any yet, have we?
Okay,
We've taken a little bit, but we're okay.
I don't have any. Or maybe I do.
Yeah, I think we have a few little, we can go back, but we're okay to do this.
okay. I'd just like to get the running balance.
Yeah. If it's okay, Ann, I'll connect with Ninochka afterwards and we can send that around by email.
Okay, that would be fine. It's not as though we can't do this, but it's just sort of nice to know what we have left.
Yep.
Well, I'll move that we approve this.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
All right, Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Okay, I'm gonna stop that document. Did that go away?
Yes.
All right, now I'm gonna share one more. All right, do you see that?
I have no reserve fund transfer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you think you've had some? No, I don't have them.
We'll connect.
Okay.
All right, so we have a few remaining operating budgets to vote on. The first one, I believe the dues for our Association of Town Finance Committee will go up 3%. So that would be, we would need to put in $20 for supplies and $165 for dues for a total of $185.
I move we approve our own budget.
All right, so is there, I wanna take notes of this, so this is for advisory, 131, for a total of 185. And Craig moved.
I'll second it.
Ann
Yeah.
second, and then how do you vote, Ann?
Yes.
Craig says yes.
Joe says yes.
And Brian says yes. Okay. The next one that we needed to vote on was dispatch. Now, the number is 182,076.
No.
Oh, sorry, 182,167.
Yes.
182,167. All right, so is there a motion to approve dispatch?
Joe so moves.
I'll second.
All right, how do you vote, Ann?
I vote yes.
Craig?
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes.
Just so you're aware that 182 is, the original number is like 198 something or other, that's the assessment. And we have a one-time credit of 16,000 and change. So just, that's why it's decreasing this year. So next year, it might look like the increase is higher, but it's, really you should look at the 198 for the increase next year.
And what's the reason for the one-time credit?
Some grant that something
Okay.
a couple towns were eligible for, so we got one last year, this is the last one that we'll get. So the increase was 5%, and then we got a discount on, we got that one-time credit.
Okay. All right, so that was 182,167. All right, next we need to vote on the Neshoba Regional School District budget for a total of $15,851,005.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
I'll second it. That's Joe.
All right, and how do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Okay, we voted Parks and Rec. We already voted Council on Aging, right, Anachka?
Yes, I believe all you have left is debt, and that may change with the Taggart property, whatever happens with that.
Yep. Okay, so we'll hold off on voting on debt until the 26th.
And other than that, everything's done.
Okay. So I believe we are done for the night. Correct?
I think that's,
Anyone else?
Nope.
All right.
Done.
cool.
So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move before my cell phone battery dies.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor? So Ann, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Craig votes yes.
Joe votes yes.
And Brian votes yes. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.